Okay, boys and girls, today we are going to be in our chapter, or in our module 10 through 20 book, chapter 11. We're on lesson 4, and that's page 279. Okay, so we're going to be dividing unit fractions by whole numbers. Make sure you can see this good. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we've been doing this for a while. We're just keeping on practicing. We skipped lesson 3 and went to lesson 4. So you might have noticed that. All right. So it says, I can represent a division of a unit fraction by a whole number using visual fraction models, just like what we've been doing. Darsha has 3 days to read half of a book. She plans to read an equal amount each day. How much of the book will Darsha read each day? So she has 3 days that she can read half of a book. So the first thing we have to figure out is, what are we dividing? What is the number sentence that we need to write? And it says, model the situation with an equation. Let R represent how much she's going to read each day. So right now we have to decide, am I dividing 3 days or am I dividing the book? I have 3 days that I can read a half a book. So guys, what's being divided is that half of a book. We're taking all the pages in half that book and we're dividing it among 3 days. We can do a little bit every day to equal that half. So that's going to equal our R or T, whatever they said. We're going to make it R. Which part of the division equation represents the part of the book she has to read? So what do we call this very beginning number, or what's being divided? What's being divided is called the dividend. The dividend. That's the first part in your division number sentence, the thing being divided. What part of the equation represents the number of days she has to read the book? She has 3 days. That's called the divisor. That's what you're dividing by, is your divisor. Then it says represent the situation with a visual fraction model. So let's draw a picture. Now think about, we've talked about this, draw what you have at the beginning. We have a half. We don't have 3 things that we're putting in half. We have half of that book. Here's half of my book. And I'm going to split that within 3 days. So here's 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days. So Monday I'll read this, Tuesday, Wednesday. What part of the whole book does each equal part represent? Each part represents 1/6. How much of the book does she read each day? She reads 1/6 of the book. Now let's work backwards to check. You know, in whole number multiplication and division, we always check by multiplying. You can do that here. We could even add 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 each day is 3/6, and we know that 3/6 is the same as a half. Okay? Turn the page. All right, Darsha has 1/3 of her math homework left. If it takes her 4 minutes to finish it, wow, how much of her math homework does she complete each minute? So first, write an equation. Think about what you're dividing. What's being divided here? She has 1/3 of her math homework and it takes her 4 minutes. How much does she do each minute? So the math homework is being divided among the 4 minutes. And we can say R again. Represented on a number line. So if we want to do this a little different with a number line, I like representing it that way. Let's look at our number line. It's 0 to 1. Now the reason it's 0 to 1 is because we're only dividing a third. So we can draw 1/3, 2/3. Okay, but remember, we're not even looking at this part. This is what we're dividing. So we've got a third, and we're having to put the third into 4 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we've got our 4 parts. Now, from 0 to 1, what does that represent? That would be all of her homework, because she only has a third of it left. So that's the whole thing of homework. Draw tick marks. Which section of the number line represents the dividend? Remember, dividend is what's being divided. So from 0 to 1/3 is where we're looking at. Shade in the section to represent that dividend. So we've got, from here to here, if you wanted to do that. Draw your tick marks. How many equal lengths do you have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal lengths. Repeat the division of the equal lengths on the entire number line. How many are there? So this is where it's going to help you know what that denominator is. So if we keep on, that was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because we're going to put them all into 4 equal parts. So that's helping you know there are 12 equal lengths on the whole thing. So each one, making sure you can see me, each one is going to be the answer, or the quotient, because that's the answer to a division problem, and that's 1/12. Circle the quotient on the number line. One of these bad boys right here. So how much each minute? 1/12 of her homework is done every minute. Now, if the number line kind of confuses you and you would rather draw this, your 1/3, and you put it into the 4 minutes, you're still getting 1 part out of all the 12. If this way is better for you to visualize it, do it that way. The number line is just another way you could do it. All right, let's keep going. All right. Here we go. Still got Darsha. She's writing 1/4 of a report equally over 5 days. How much of the report does she write each day? Write an equation. We're going to keep doing the same thing we've been doing. So when I look at my number line, I see it's 0 to 1, because we're just talking about 1/4 of it. So I'm going to put it into 4 parts. Don't worry about, are your parts perfect? That doesn't matter. Okay, and it also asks us to write an equation. So let's think again. What were we dividing here? She has 1/4 of a report that she's writing an equal amount each day for 5 days. So your report is being divided among your 5 days. Okay, we're going to keep on with the R. We've done this so much, you might be thinking of the answer right now in your mind. You might know. Oh, I know exactly what it is. One thing I definitely want y'all to keep doing is thinking about what makes sense. Should my answer be bigger or smaller than 1/4? It should be smaller, because I'm taking my 1/4 and I'm dividing it into 5 equal parts. So they're going to be smaller than they were. So I know that that's 1/20. So if you did it on the number line, you're dividing it into 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would do that the whole time. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we know they're in 20 parts, and then one of those parts, because we were splitting the 4th into 5 equal parts. Or again, a fourth, 5 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever way works for you. Okay, now we're going to just answer these. If you need to draw a picture, draw one. You can do quick pictures. I'm going to do these without drawing a picture. Number 2, a 6 divided by 9. Already I know my answer is going to be a fraction. Knowing that is helpful. I have a 6, I put it into 9 parts. Well, I know 6 times 9 is 54. So my answer is going to be 1/54 because I'm taking that 6, which is already small, and I'm putting it in 9 more parts. This one, it just has the equation written a little, I guess you could say backwards, but it's still, an equation is just equal on both sides. So something equals a 10th divided by 6. Again, I'm looking at this. I know that my answer is going to be smaller than a 10th. And I know 6 times 10 is 60. So a 10th divided by 6 is 1/60th. Number 4, a 7th divided by 4. Again, my answer is going to be smaller. And I know 7 times 4 is 28, so it's 1/28. I'm getting a very small piece. Let's look at number 5. It says, is 39 a reasonable answer for 1/13 divided by 3? Is that reasonable, or does that make sense? No. Why not? Think about it. When we've looked at all of these, what have we said at first? If it's 1/13 divided by 3, my answer has to be smaller. So I'm going to say no. My answer must be smaller than 1/13. And 39 is not smaller than 1/13. Okay? Number 6, 1/15 divided by 5. You might not know 15 times 5, so if you don't, work it out. 15 times 5, 25, that's 75. That's going to be 1/75. It's got to be smaller than 1/15 because you're putting it in 5 more parts. Alright? N equals 1/8 divided by 12. Again, smaller than an 8. I know 12 times 8 is 96, so this would be 1/96. 1/20th divided by 7. Gonna be smaller. I know 2 times 7 is 14, so 20 times 7 is 140. Alright, itty bitty piece right there. Okay, so we're gonna stop right there. And you guys make sure you have all this written down. Work on that homework.